Standout with the post-match verdict. I'll be off to get some post-match reaction from management and players down there, so stay on the club app for that. Chelsea are into the last 16 again, the competition we love so much. The 8-time winners will play at Barnsley in round 5, having seen off Luton fairly comfortably with the odd minor scare, 3-1.
Welcome back to Matchday Live. Chelsea are into the 5th round of the FA Cup after a 3-1 win over Luton Town at Stamford Bridge. All 3 goals for Chelsea coming from Tammy Abraham. He'll be taking home a snow-covered match ball from this afternoon. Zach, he was superb, wasn't he? Took all 3 of his goals really well.
Fantastic, man. For a guy who's been in and out of the side, every time he really gets his opportunity, he takes it. What a game for him. He's clinical, a real kind of, he can do it all. He can be a poacher, he can hold up, he can make runs, whatever you need that guy to do. He can make it his own. And I think him and Timo, to be fair, I know he missed the penalty, but I actually thought he had a better game. Really flourished in that kind of 2 up top formation, dealt with the centre-backs and gave Luton a very horrid time. Although it was 3-1 to us, I mean, it could have realistically been 6.
Yeah, completely agree with your assessment on Tammy Abraham, Zach. I think, Claire, that if you're putting together a show reel of a centre forward and what he could do, I suppose you'd have a tap in. Tammy got it for his 3rd. A looping header shows he's decent in the air for the 2nd goal, and then a really well timed finish from sort of 10-12 yards. He did everything today, fully deserving in the match, Paul, and he was. That's exactly what we know Tammy's about, isn't it?
Yeah, we talked about it before, weren't we? I mean, what a game he had. Every single goal you'd like to see. I think before I was saying about his execution, I think it was spot on today. His movement was fantastic. For the 3rd goal, it seemed simple, that tap in that he had, but fantastic build-up play from the whole team. And then it's about his positioning. He got himself in between them defenders, and he made it look easy. So, yeah, great day for him.
Jace, we're just talking about obviously Tammy's performance today, how good he was, and especially that third goal, because you mentioned there, Claire, about it being a tap in, but there was 2 or 3 moments prior to that. I think Reece James had a whip cross, and I think Hakim Ziyech as well flashed one across the face, and you're going, that's where you want him to be. So he's gone, okay, I can see that, and then he gets there for that exact cutback from Hudson-Odoi, and a great all round performance from Tammy and Chelsea today, Jace.
Indeed, yeah. I mean, about time someone got on the end of them, because 2 or 3 of those balls across there just begging to be put in the back of the net. And on this occasion, he does anticipate. And I think Frank will look at that because, look, well played, Tammy. He was the best player on the pitch, and his hold-up play, take the goals away. Even I thought he had a fabulous game. But the amount of balls that have gone across the face of the goal, you can't keep giving up those amount of chances, especially in games that are going to be tighter than it was today. But look, it's been a good performance. Credit to Luton. They made a right fist of it, didn't they? They came here and were competitive, and on another day perhaps go 2-2. Good save from Kerr to his left-hand side, but largely we went out and by far the better side. The scoreline, perhaps could have been better. Clean sheet would have been nice, but look, we're into the next round on to Wednesday.
Zach, Jace makes a great point there because, again, this is no disrespect to Morecambe, but the difference was obvious, and Chelsea didn't need to get out of second gear in that game. Today, there was a moment perhaps where if Cornick does manage to put it past Kerr, it's 2-2, the game's different. Chelsea had to dig in for a little while. Luton had a little sort of 10-15 minute spell where they looked dangerous, looked like they could bring it back level. And then they've got through that and they've accelerated, gone through the gears a little bit more, shown their quality and got through it. So it's kind of, you'll learn a lot more from games like today where you've had to show a bit of resolve, but you've still gone, okay, let's step up to the level we are and get through it.
100%. And you saw that in the third goal, the play between Billy bringing it down over to Callum and the passes between Mason back to Callum to Tammy. It really showed of the quality and the substitutes and the impacts that we made and everything that we kind of had going our way. It felt different to Morecambe, even though we didn't concede against Morecambe and we scored a lot of goals. I think we actually came away from that game being like, it didn't feel like we'd done enough. Whereas today, I feel like we saw something that we didn't quite see over the past couple of weeks. Players really playing a certain kind of style and picking the right passes. A lot of players today played really, really well, and the formation kind of a 4-2-4, 4-4-2 kind of thing. I'm just going to keep talking about it, having two strikers up top. It felt good. I think Mike Bassett would be proud.
That's a good name drop, that one. I like it. Claire, I'm going to give it to you because as a left footer yourself, I think we've all said this before, left footers just seem to look better. I don't know what it is about it. It just seems to look cleaner. They seem to look a lot more impressive. Hakim Ziyech second half, I thought he was phenomenal.
Oh, you know what? He's a difference maker, isn't he? For me, he needs to get on the ball a little bit more, but he's not afraid to make them passes. He makes the passes that nobody wants to make, and he has that kind of adventurous side about him. That back heel to play James in to get that cross in the Pulisic's opportunity was fantastic play. But yeah, for me, I want him to get on the ball more. The second half, he started pulling the strings, didn't he? And it was a pleasure to see. I'd like to see him score, but the left foot does make it look easy, doesn't it?
Really does. And Jace, we've said this on so many occasions this season, but again, coming off the bench, Callum Hudson-Odoi, his impact's superb yet again today.
Yeah, that's right. And you start scratching your head why that can't happen from the start. And that's got to be the case. You don't want to make a name for yourself for just being known to come off the bench. There's a number of reasons why that would be. Tired legs, he's a quick lad, can have a direct impact. I want to see that from the beginning. I think we all do. I think Callum probably does as well. And he wasn't the only one against Leicester. It was a poor game from everyone. But coming off the bench and impacting on the game against Luton and Morecambe is one thing. Starting the Premier League game from the first whistle, having an impact. That's where he's got to get. But look, he's come off and done brilliant. I mean, the goal was straight out of Cobham, wasn't it? Brilliant to see. Tammy started it with his initial hold-up play right down in front of us on the left-hand side. And as you mentioned, Mason, Billy, Callum, and then Tammy on the end of it as well. It was best goal of the game. Really pleasure to see that movement.
Zach, just on that then, because Jace makes a good point about, you want to see that from the start of a Premier League game. So who does keep their place for Wednesday night against Wolves? Who do you think's done enough to merit a start?
I think we'll have to see the fitness issues first. I think it looked at one point Christian may have pulled up a little bit after that attempt. But from the players that played today, I thought Billy Billy was phenomenal. He kind of does it all, and it's that thought where sometimes against Leicester, when the midfielder got it, instead of thinking, okay, I'm going to try that diagonal pass, it was always, okay, I'm not going to risk it. I'm going to give it back to the centre back, and then it's their problem. Something. But Billy, he would pick up the ball, and I know it is Luton. I know it's a bit more of a game where you can express yourself, but he would pick it up, and that first thought is, okay, I'm trying that diagonal pull, and every time it can play it off. I mean, fair play to Emerson as well. I thought he actually had a decent game too, being able to control that ball the time. And Reece was definitely much better today, apart from that one little clearance, or say. But Billy for me, I think has to start against Wolves. Whether we play the same formation, I'm not too sure, because it's a Premier League game, and obviously this is a bit of an easier opponent.
What I like about Billy, Claire, is it seems like he's always got so much time on the ball. And I know that former players always say about that's how you mark a good player. That's how you know a good player, because it always seems like he's got time on the ball. Is that what you see in him?
Yeah, as we were saying before, in the awareness, he's always. I think it looks like he's got that time because he gives himself that time by actually wanting the ball. He's already 2 steps ahead of everyone. It's the quickness of his play. You saw in the final goal. He had the vision to be involved in that 1-2. And I think he's just 2 steps ahead. So it looks like he's got more time than he does do. And he's also not willing to actually take that touch forward across his body and go forward with the ball.
He seems like he's so composed, and the other thing as well, Jay, I suppose that the reason that Frank Lampard had absolutely no qualms in starting him and Mason Mount centre midfield today is both of them are leaders in terms of they seem they talk on the pitch as well, don't they? They're very vocal for 2 players, very very assured and certain on the ball. And when you've got 2 players in the middle of the park that can, I suppose, calm the play down when you need to, take 3 or 4 touches, but then also have the ability to, on a switch, start the game and get it going quickly again. When you've got a player like that's a huge impact to have from the middle of the park.
Yeah, and what a great day for the academy today as well. Neil Bath and everyone connected. Those boys would have played together countless times. God knows how many minutes they played. They played together, and you're talking about 2 very technically gifted footballers. They are footballers in the true sense of the word. I love watching Billy on the ball. He's very brave in possession, and Claire's right. He will have, when that ball comes into him, he's not deciding what to do with as the ball comes in. He will have a picture in his mind as to how this game is going to play out, and that's why he plays so many balls one touch. Goes and plays it, goes and gets it on the half turn, and has a real impact. I love the way that he kind of moves us up the field. He's happy to make that punchy pass, zips it in. We made the point before the game. He will test your touch. And that's the way it should be. Steven Gerrard was the best at that. He would zip that ball in and say to you, sort your touch out, make sure you get hold of that ball. All round, there was a lot of good things about today. And there's a couple of things that leaves you thinking, how are they still in the game with half an hour left? That should not have been the case. But look, we're into the next round. And I think Billy's made a case. And I find it very hard for Tammy to not play on Wednesday after that as well.
Yeah.
It's interesting, isn't it, Zach? Because you see games like that, and we see it as an opportunity, And there are, I suppose, some players that when they come in look like they should start 3, 4, 5 games ahead of time. But because games come so thick and fast, we're playing in the next round in, I think it's 3 or 4 weeks. We play Barnsley. It's early in February. We play Barnsley, but before then, we've obviously got Wolves in the week. We've got Burnley coming up, Spurs as well. So games do come quite quickly. So if you get the opportunity to start, you have to take that, don't you?
Exactly. Another one today was Ziyech. Ziyech, I thought he was maybe a little bit slow coming into the game, but by the 20th minute, and especially in the second half before he got taken off, he was really up and running and tearing apart at times that Luton defence. I think he'll be another sure starter against Wolves. But it is really about taking your chance. We saw it against Sevilla. Giroud scored 4 goals into the team the next time. And I think it's going to be the same for Tammy Abraham. A fantastic performance, and honestly, they all continue to take their chance week in, week out. And I'll be very surprised if he's not starting against Wolves.
Claire, the back four is interesting because I know that you said about consistency. That's something that you as a defender wanted to see. And we started with Kurt Zouma and Christensen today. Obviously, Fikayo Tomori, wish him good luck. He's gone out on loan to AC Milan this week. That's confirmed. So it's between the 4 of them now, isn't it? With Rudiger and Thiago Silva and then Zouma and Christensen. As a 2, are you looking at 1 taking the advantage and starting, or are you looking at 2 starting together? How does it work?
Yeah, I think we're probably going to see Zouma back in for me. You're going to go back to Silva and Zouma. I just think, although there's a few kind of little mishaps of concentration, I think for me, Zouma was the better out of the 2 there. And look, we were always in control at the back. We were tested, and I think Luton had a few chances, didn't they, to capitalise on the 2-1 up. But I think, look, I like the consistency. I'd like to stick with Zuma and Silva for longevity. I know there needs to be changes, but I think that out of the two, it will be him.
Jace, Frank will be happy with the response today, won't you? Because there would have been a lot of pressure coming into this game on Chelsea to put in a performance and get a result. And everyone knows FA Cup weekend, they're always looking for that one little upset. So to come through today, the way that we have, he'll be pleased with, won't he?
Yes, he will. And you know, after what's happened at the start of the year, it's been a bit sticky. The end of the year was a bit sticky. But this is a game that we should have won, you know, whatever kind of side we put out. And we did. You know, we tick that box and we move on. The big game now is Wednesday. You know, this game here against lower league opposition was a formality. It was just a question of going through the 90 minutes and getting out the other side and moving forward. Wednesday, we've got to win that one. That's massive. Next 2 games at home, have to pick up 6 points. That's an absolute must. So, yes, today, you know, it's always nice, FA Cup, moving to the next round. You know, we can perhaps even start thinking about Wembley if we get past Barnsley. But the game on Wednesday is huge.
Zach, Wolves is a big game. They've not been on the greatest form themselves, but I suppose this is where the momentum starts, isn't it? We talk about that in terms of you take one game after another, you get a good result today, you carry it on Wednesday, and then you can start to build from there. And Wolves will be a test. It will be difficult, but they're going through their own sticky patch themselves, so it's important to come out on top.
100%. And look, Wolves were going for a sticky patch when we played them last time, and they beat us.
Yeah,
you know, and they beat us. And you know, at times, I feel recent years, if you're going for a bad patch, you want to play Chelsea because somehow you seem to get 3 points. But
we'll turn your season around, won't we?
Exactly. I remember West Ham last year. Now look at them; they're challenging us for the European placing. Yeah. But look, Lampard will know this, and the players will know this. They've played against Wolves. They've been 1-0 up against them. It's about being smart with your game management and playing well. And I feel if we play as well as we did today and take our chances, take the chances when we go those balls into the back post, we'll come out on top. And it's a game we have to win. We really do have to win that.
10 days ago, Claire, you'd be looking at Wolves and Burnley as 2 games that if you're looking to get results in, you'd fancy yourself going back in. Obviously, Burnley getting a magnificent result at Anfield last week, and Wolves, like Zach said, they weren't in greatest form last time we played them. But they are 2 games that you do fancy yourself in. But we have to now take the opportunity and we have to start sticking a run together before Spurs at the start of February.
Yeah, hopefully this will kickstart that kind of. We said this again already this season, haven't we? But for me, look, it's about today. It's the result. I think the next 2 games we have to get the wins. We are under pressure, and if we don't, I think it'll be difficult to kind of build from off the back of that. Look, certain aspects of the performance today, Frank will be happy.
Sorry to dive in, Claire. Sorry to dive in. We've got the hat trick hero Tammy Abraham speaking to Ben.
And build that confidence again, and to play well, and luckily for me to get the hat trick.
Been a lot of rotation of you front men, Timo and Ollie and you. You've all been on about 8 or 9 goals for a while. You're the first into double figures now.
Yeah.
Do you think it's about trying to be the main man and getting that role every week, or do you all accept that it is going to change?
I've been at the club since the age of 6. So I've known how it's always been. Chelsea always bring top quality strikers in and top quality players. So there's always going to be great competition, and I think we drive each other. When the other one scores, we're all delighted for them, and for me and Timo to be on the pitch today was obviously an honour. He encouraged me and I encouraged him, and we got through it, and lucky for him not to get the goal as well.
What about the 2 up top? We haven't done that from the start, but for Ed, basically. Tell us about that plan.
I enjoyed it a lot. I think it takes the pressure off me, always making a run in behind and coming to feet. Sometimes it's tough to do too much at once, so playing with Timo we kind of equaled it out, and when he goes long, I come short. And we had that good combination today, which I enjoyed. Hopefully we can carry on like that.
Quick word for the academy. Reece made one of your goals, another was Callum and Billy Gilmour. It was lovely. And Mason Mount captain today. That's amazing.
It's amazing. Before the game, we saw that Mason was captain, and we're all delighted for him. Hopefully he's been on excellent form, and hopefully we can carry that on.
And just lastly, it's Wolves next, where you scored your last hat trick, and that was a very academy day actually, as I recall, with the Tory on the score sheet and Mason as well. Do you hope and presume that a performance like that makes you undroppable?
Hopefully, I go into that game with confidence. Try to get that early goal. try and settle them from early, and you never know what could happen. Football's a funny place.
Well played, Tammy. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Thanks, guys.
What a performance from Tammy Abraham today. Rightly so, buzzing with his performance. A hat-trick and certainly a bit of confidence going into the next game. He speaks about being undroppable there. He's not wrong, is he? We were, of course, lining up for a Super Blue Sunday here on Chelsea. Obviously, due to the weather, the WSL game between Chelsea and Bristol City has been postponed, as is the PL2 game versus Southampton. But there's still loads coming up on the fifth stand. Starting on Tuesday afternoon, we'll bring you all of Frank Lampard's pre-match press conference ahead of the visit of Wolverhampton Wanderers. And it's a bit of an earlier start for us on Matchday Live on Wednesday. We are back at 4:50 for some Premier League action. Friday is PL2. The Chelsea development squad are back against Brighton, so that'll be a good one. Obviously, a good morning/afternoon for us here at Chelsea. A good 3-1 win, victory over the Hatters. So we are into the fifth round. Barnsley await. We've played them already this season. We look forward to a second meeting with those. It's been a snowy morning, snowy afternoon. We are one step closer to Wembley. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.